An aircraft turnaround is a complex series of activities carried out in accordance with the Precision Time Schedule, known as the PTS. Prior to the aircraft landing, the appropriate preparation must be carried out, and the amount of time required will depend upon your station and your role. The potential dangers on the ramp range from a minor inconvenience to a major catastrophe, and compliance with safety is paramount at all times. It is essential that everyone working around the aircraft wears the correct personal protective equipment, known as PPE. Before the aircraft arrives on stand, checks must be made to ensure that it is FOD-free, all equipment is correctly positioned, serviceable, and guidance lights, if used, are switched on. Once the anti-collision lights and engines have been switched off, chocks and cones must be correctly positioned. A visual inspection must be completed before ramp equipment approaches the aircraft. Whether you are at a long or short-haul station, the initial arrival of the aircraft results in a great deal of activity occurring simultaneously. Passengers disembarking, bags and cargo being offloaded together, with other ramp services being carried out. All of this activity must be managed in accordance with your station's PTS and service level agreements in order to maintain safety, compliance and punctuality. Effectively managing these processes will enable us to meet our customers' expectations. Ramp equipment presents many different hazards, and it is important that you recognize what these are. Make sure that you fully understand the safety measures that should be followed and that your staff and contractors are adhering to them. Communication between all parties is the key to success. Ensure that everyone involved in the turnaround is kept informed of progress, any special conditions or requirements that may exist, and any changes to the PTS that may be required. Timely communication will ensure all activities are coordinated as preparations are made for departure, and any potential problems must be highlighted immediately. Cleaning staff must be made aware of the time they have available. For short-haul aircraft, this will also include confirmation of the cabin configuration required. When cleaning the interior of aircraft, servicing toilets and replenishing potable water, hygiene standards must be strictly adhered to. You must be aware of the local procedures that apply when refueling aircraft at your station. This will include, for example, protection of the fueling zones, spillage and emergency procedures. Before loading commences, a visual inspection of all holds will confirm that all arrival loads have been correctly offloaded and that the areas are clear of debris and FOD. It is essential that communication is established with your load control hub, as they are integral to your turnaround and will issue the loading instructions, which stipulates the position of all hold items such as baggage, cargo and mail. Certain activities such as catering, if not correctly coordinated, will impact on the departure process, causing delays, for example to passenger boarding. All activities must be monitored to ensure safe methods of working are adhered to. Consultation with the boarding team will identify passengers with special needs and is an opportunity to confirm boarding times and any other special conditions that may exist. Once all the passengers have been reconciled, the team leader at the gate will call through to the person coordinating the flight to confirm boarding completed. The final AAA baggage reconciliation checks have now been made and the relevant paperwork signed accordingly. This process must be completed before pushback. All hold doors are now closed and equipment is removed from the aircraft. It's important to ensure that the equipment is correctly parked. As final preparations and checks around the aircraft are being made for departure, the tractor will be positioned in readiness. Before the doors are closed, the relevant paperwork should be handed to the crew. Before the aircraft leaves the stand, a visual inspection must be completed and recorded. The headset operator will complete the final checks and confirm to the flight crew that all equipment is clear of the aircraft and that it is safe to commence the pushback. If the final loading figures have not already been sent to the CLC hub following the AAA reconciliation, they must be sent immediately. The aircraft cannot take off until the flight crew receives the final figures. Your station's PTS will take into account the taxi time to the runway and will therefore indicate at what time final load messages must be sent to load control. Once the flight crew receive the load sheet details, then they will take off. It's now time to ensure that post-departure signals are sent, the relevant paperwork is collected for the station files, and that all departure actions are completed.